Hello, my name is Erin Holland, and I am the Digital Learning and Teaching Facilitator at Swansboro Middle School in Onslow County, North Carolina. And I am here today with one of our teachers who has found a very creative way to make sure that her students stay engaged through this remote learning experience. Miss Lott, hello.
Hello, my name is Ashley Lott. Everyone calls me Jill. I teach 7th grade science at Swansboro Middle School, where I've been teaching for 10 years. My husband is a retired Marine, so we lived life first, and then I got into teaching. So I have a little bit of a different background than just coming straight out of college and then into teaching. So we started all of this digital learning process. We had a work day on a Monday and then a work day on a Tuesday, and we went live on a Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. By Friday, I was so bored. I was sitting behind my computer and giving out these assignments for the kids to do and telling them what they needed to do. And it was a little frustrating trying to help them through the process, but I was just bored and I needed something to keep my attention and keep my focus. I'm just a little bit ADHD, so it really helped me to kind of come up with something. And I'm a very creative person anyway. So what I decided to do was I knew that the following week we were going to start our unit on speed, and I knew that we were going to be talking about speed. So I decided, hey, why don't I dress up as different animals? So I decided to start on Monday dressing up and doing my face just as a different animal every single day. And along with that, I was including information about the animals and their top speeds that they would reach, just so I could kind of hook it back into my curriculum somehow. I looked up ideas on Pinterest. I just searched animal face paint and went from there. The animals, it only took me about 15 minutes in the mornings really to put them on. I did a giraffe one day and it was literally like brown dots all over my face. So it really didn't take that long. I don't think it took the animal part. Some of the faces I don't think took as much creativity and as much time as others. Sure, there were other faces in the following weeks that took a little bit longer for me to get going. I used makeup that I already had at home since we couldn't really go anywhere, do anything. So I just pulled out a bunch of makeup that I already had and kind of used that. Week 3 was when we started acceleration and motion. And I thought, superheroes. So on Monday, I think I did Incredibles. And then that week there was this was the 3rd week of virtual instruction, and there was a big decline in the amount of work that my students were turning in. So I decided that Tuesday I was not going to dress up, and I became a sad teacher. And the kids were really upset. A couple of them made comments to me that their parents were waiting to see what I was dressed as, and that they were all upset that I wasn't dressed up. So I told them lesson learned, because in my class, there's a lot of life lessons, and big life lesson here is you guys need to turn in your work and hold each other accountable. If you have someone's cell phone numbers, text them and ask them if they've done their work. I wasn't, requiring a whole lot of work, so I was expecting what I was requiring to be done. So anyway, week 4, we did a virtual spirit week through our Onslow County school system. We did this virtual spirit week. So I, of course, did the different dress ups with them. Then we took a week off for spring break. We came back and that was week 5 of virtual instruction, and we did balanced and unbalanced forces and Newton's laws of motion. My very favorite was, one of my favorite costumes. I dressed up as Sir Isaac Newton, and I spoke to the students in a really horrible accent and told them that I was their sub for the day. And I made them explain to me what a web quest was, because that's what they were going to be doing for the day. And I had them explain to me how to turn in assignments and everything else, like I was, just this person that had absolutely no clue what we were doing. Another day that week, I dressed up as the Hulk even wearing full green from head to toe, and took a couple of videos out in my yard of me, like, throwing some boxes, um, and I took those videos and then put them on a PowerPoint and showed the students the PowerPoints. Um, this week, we've been talking about energy and transferring energy. Today, we made origami frogs, hence the reason that I am a frog today. And from the origami frogs, we talked about elastic potential energy and gravitational potential energy, and those transferring into kinetic energy, and, about the frog jumping and things like that. Um, you know, Again, I've used things that I have in my own home and to do all of this. And I think the kids are really getting a kick out of it. I've taken my faces, and I take a picture every day to send to my assistant principals. And I also have a lot of family that's a couple of states away. So I send them the pictures via Facebook. So I post them on Facebook every day. And I didn't realize the following that I had on Facebook. So apparently people are waiting for me to upload my pictures every day. And some of the comments from the students have just been hilarious. One student said that my husband needed to confiscate all of my face paint. So that was a funny one. Another student made a comment that he had dialed 911 and he asked the police officer to please send help because his teacher had been stolen, and that Isaac Newton was in her place. So that was a pretty funny day as well. Parents, I've got parents that since we've gone digital, I've resorted to contacting them through my cell phone and texting them. And the few parents that I am texting in constant contact with, they too are texting me every day asking, what are you going to be today? Can't wait to see you live today, things like that. All of this going digital, I feel like, and everything going on in the world now, I found myself getting very depressed. I found myself getting very down and out. And again, my class is a lot about life lessons. And my life lesson right now is, yeah, everything sucks right now and it's horrible. But you know what? Like, we can overcome it, and we can do something, as even if it's as silly as putting some makeup on your face to bring a smile to someone else's face. One thing that I found hilarious is that we all know as teachers, we have that one class that is the more challenging of our classes. They're the one class that some days we want to have a fire drill at the beginning of that class. And then there are days that we just hope that class can just go through very quickly. My most challenging class, since we've gone virtual, has become one of my most entertaining classes. They're the ones that have the most comments about whatever I'm dressed as, and it's made my heart big. It's made my heart happy, I should say, because it just seeing their faces, or well, seeing their comments, not their faces. But
yeah. And didn't you mention something about the attendance of that group?
Oh my gosh. So my most challenging class, and of course, there are those children that I think Rita Pearson said it best in her TED Talk, that there are those most challenging children that are never absent. And that most challenging class, I've only had one person in that class that has not been attending my online sessions. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, that's the reason that I really wanted to talk to you and for you to kind of be able to share your story, because like you mentioned, there has been a lot on Facebook, with your pictures floating out there and what you're doing. But I think kind of having the context is really helpful. And one day I tweeted out, I think it was one of your animal pictures, and an assistant principal from another school kind of retweeted that and talked about, at this time, we're all kind of stepping out of our comfort zone anyway.
Mhm.
So, just going a couple of extra steps, and like you mentioned, it doesn't really take that long to do this, to get ready in the morning. But I think for us, we're doing our live classes through Microsoft Teams, and we have cameras disabled for the students. So as the teachers, I think a lot of us are feeling, that separation and that disconnect from our students
Mhm.
very personally. Um, and I love that even though you can't see your students, like you're still getting a sense of their reaction to what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What was the one comment one day? Send help. I think she's lost her mind. And then the next comment was, Miss Lott, blink once if you need help. And again, from
Right.
my more challenging class. So,
That's great. And I mean that like you mentioned, this is such a strange time. Everybody's feeling I think probably kind of a roller coaster of emotions. Like
mhm.
one day you're like, okay, we're moving through this, and then the next day you get really down and back and forth. And I imagine our students are feeling the same way. So like, at least when they're in your class, like they have that moment to laugh.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, and I share a lot with my students, um, whether it be in the classroom or even now digitally. I still share a lot with my students. My core one, just today, I was having some major technical difficulties, and I said, you know what, guys, I'm gonna end this call and I'm gonna shut down my computer and restart it, and then we're gonna come back. So, I mean, it happens, and I think that it's really important for the students to know that we are frustrated sometimes as well. That it's okay. They need to know that.
Yeah, and like ultimately that the idea that we're all in this together, like we can experience frustration together, but we can also learn together, and we can also laugh together even though we're
Absolutely.
not in the building together.
And it's
So
okay to laugh at ourselves
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah, and I love what you're doing, the sense of, thinking outside the box, thinking of easy ways that you can engage your students. And I think any teacher can do this, even if dressing up or, putting on makeup is not your bag. Like there are lots of little easy ways we can engage our students, have a little laugh at the beginning of a live class, and then,
Absolutely.
continue on with the content.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And always, you can change your background, you can, write on a window. So many different things you can do.
Awesome. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing to keep your seventh grade students engaged and attentive during remote learning. And I really appreciate you
Oh,
sharing your story with everyone.
no problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.